One of the mistakes which some political analysts make is to think that their enemies should be our enemies. That we can and we will never do. We have our own struggle which we are conducting. We are grateful to the world for supporting our struggle. But nevertheless, we are an independent organization. Our attitude towards any country is determined by the attitude of that country to our struggle.
If you see me in the streets, better holler at me. Seeking for a beat, throw them dollars at me. I don't like defeat, take that away from me. You tryna be like me, you couldn't handle my story. But we gon' let you know, we gon' let you know. We gon' let you know, we gon' let you know.
Guys, did you know that some of our progressive leaders of today, especially those from Africa, their names might be on the US terrorist watch list? Yes, I'll explain. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in and welcome back to yet another episode, man. Hey, they call me Jay. I'm a motherlandian, man. I do live in the diaspora, and I do come on here once in a while, and I draw vlogs, and we chime in and we talk about everything that's happening around the world, especially from motherland, Africa, man. And before we get into this, man, I just want to say thank you to anybody that's been watching Misterjaay, man. The audience in the United States, man, United Kingdom, man, South Africa, man, Nigeria, Uganda, Kenya, Barbados, Jamaica, man, Trinidad and Tobago, man, yo. The love and, man, is Canada, man, yo. I am very honored. And please, before we do, man, do help the channel out. Hit that like button, man. The more you do that, the more the algorithm understands what we are trying to do. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to talk about the US and their terrorist watch list. Now, why is it that the US always feels threatened by leaders, especially leaders from developing countries, especially Africa, who rise up and they want to work to ensure that their people are treated and benefit from their resources? Why? The US and the West. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's the recent crisis going on right now in the Gaza Strip, and the world has been seeing how a few controlling the vast majority, a few ensuring that the vast majority of the indigenous people of the land don't have any say in anything. That's what we call apartheid. And yes, we did see that a couple of years ago, decades ago, in a beautiful country called South Africa. The apartheid system in South Africa was a clear eye-opener. But if the USA can stand and support an apartheid state in this era, that should go to let you know how neutral or how their mindsets were towards the whole concept of apartheid. Now, this vlog I want to bring to your notice, maybe some of you already know it, or maybe some of you don't yet know it. Did you know that Nelson Mandela's name was on the USA terrorist watch list until 2008? Did you know that? Yes, the Nelson Mandela, who is a beacon and an icon and freedom fighter. Yes, that Nelson Mandela. Did you know that? Now, you might be asking me the question, but Mr. J, why did they put his name? Why was his name on the USA terrorist watch list? Why would his name first of all get into that kind of a list, given that the whole world now knows and appreciates what this man was trying to do, and he succeeded to do that? Now, that is debatable if he succeeded or he didn't succeed. That is up to you. I will leave that up to you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the USA has this foreign policy, unfortunately, which is whoever is trying to stand up against them, they are the enemy. Whoever is trying to make things better to his own people, even if that means to just kick out the West and the allies, especially the US. Oh, they are not good people. The USA and the West, they have this attitude of ensuring that any person who tries to go against their norms, any person who tries to befriend their enemies, oh, they become their enemies automatically. And of course, back in the day when we talk about the apartheid, we definitely got to talk about the USSR. Yes, Russia. Back in the day, man, some of you guys don't know. This whole concept of communism, the communist system, it always, we know of it as Russia. Because China wasn't what it was back then. China rose to where it is today in less than 50 years. 50 years ago, China wasn't what it is today. And that is a bravo to that country. But we're not talking about China. But back in the days, man, communist Russia was actually helping a whole lot of freedom fighters in Africa. We can talk about the communist bloc that used to help those in Angola. We can talk about Fidel Castro, who actually traveled to Africa and helped them during that independence struggle. And then we can talk about South Africa. Nelson Mandela was actually being helped by the USSR. And no, that immediately put him under the USA's terrorist watch list. Now, when you look at Nelson Mandela, let's look at what this man was fighting for. This man was fighting for the rights of black South Africans. This man wanted to ensure that South Africans should have a dignified life, and they should be able to reap off the benefit of South Africa. And then this guy's name was put on the terrorist watch list by who? The #1 terrorist sponsored. Because USA has sponsored more terrorist groups in the world than any other country. Don't believe me? Look at Libya. They sponsored what they call moderate fighters in Libya. They killed Gaddafi. What happened after that? Look at what is happening in Libya today. And this shit blew my mind when I realized that this is actually factual. Now remember, City College, New York, 1990, Nelson Mandela made a speech and he said, your enemies are not supposed to be my enemies. That you don't like Russia, China, Cuba, Venezuela, I am not supposed to not like them. By the way, these people actually put resources to us to use. The freedom fighters in Africa, they can tell you that. Oh, we can tell you that. We can tell you that Fidel Castro was in Congo. He fought in Africa. We know that. We know all of these things, man. But the fact that this man was on that list, it just goes to show you how neutral America claims to be against apartheid system. So it's okay for people in the Gaza Strip to be controlled and killed because the weapons and the arms are coming from the US, backing them up. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. So I want to throw this ball back at you people. Did you ever know that Nelson Mandela was actually in a terrorist group? And do you think that the way the propaganda that the US uses nowadays, especially with its media outlets, do you think that that is a good way to be the world's leader? Are they worthy? And one last question. When are we ever going to hold these countries responsible for some of the crazy things that they have done around the world? Not just in Africa. We can talk about Central America. Or we can talk about the dictatorship that was in Brazil decades ago. Or we can talk about the pace of Biggs. But please do leave your comment, man. I mean, chime in if you know more. Chime in if I missed anything. Leave a comment, and I hope that you did hit that like button and share. Guess what? We just gotta talk. We just gotta understand things that are going on around the globe today from the perspective of an African motherland. You feel me? Peace.
Creation, reaction, God. Big up TRB family. Misterjaay, I see you. I know some artists don't do this. God bless you and your families.